We are live. Hi, everyone. Today, I have a really, really important message to share with you. I'm fresh out the hot tub, which is where I brew a lot of my ideas. And it's on the subject of how much you really value your emotional health. And I want you to ask yourself that question. And I'm going to tell you exactly how you can clearly see how much you actually value your emotional health. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah Mack. I'm a writer and a mindset coach for creatives. And I'm all about creating more freedom, more fun, more emotional well-being and happiness and creativity. And the one thing that I see come up again and again and again is that people resist investing in their emotional health. And when you boil it down, it's actually the single most important and powerful move that you can make when you want to create change, when you want to solve the problems in your life and you want to create solutions. Because our emotions drive absolutely everything that we do. They drive our behavior, they drive our actions. And the way you create different results in your life is by changing your behavior. So in order to do that, we have to be in a conversation of emotional health. We have to be having conversations with our emotions. And it's been a taboo subject for such a long time. And mental illness has been a taboo subject for a really long time. We're starting to talk about it more, obviously, but still it's not coming up in conversation around the dinner table depending on obviously your circle of friends and your family, but it isn't something that you genuinely hear people encourage people to do. There's still a little bit of stigma attached to going to see a therapist. And there's still some shame attached to it if we are admitting to the idea that we're not completely perfect already, which is absolutely ludicrous. So the way that you can tell how much you really value your emotional health is by looking at your bank statements, looking at your credit card statements, and circling any of these services and events, activities that contribute to your emotional health and well-being, and see what's the dollar amount you're actually putting towards that, because that will show you how much you really value your emotional health and well-being. And look at how much you're spending in comparison to other things that you're spending on. And then take a reflection on that and ask yourself, well, really, how happy am I? Really, how fulfilled am I? How much does, anxiety, self-doubt, worry about the problems in my life consume my time and energy? And how much am I taking control over that and creating solutions by investing in my emotional well-being? And look at what ways you're choosing to create emotional health and really ask yourself, are they serving you? Because, like I said, talking about seeing a therapist, working with a coach, doing that deep emotional work isn't something that comes up in your average everyday conversation. But there are so many other ways that are kind of socially acceptable to take care of our emotional health, like cocktails with friends, like a Netflix subscription, like eating chocolate, like eating out, creating feelings of happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction through external pleasures and instant gratification. And, there's a time and a place for all of these things. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but if that's predominantly what you are leaning on to create emotional health and well-being, it's not really going to take you where you want to go. These are avoidance tactics. These are checking out. Yes, they create good emotions, which is absolutely valuable. But if you're not really creating the time and space to go deep and allow yourself to have that conversation with what's going on in your emotional health, that's really how you make the big shifts that lead to behavior changes, that let go of addictions, that let go of destructive behaviors, that allow you to release your limitations and create solutions that are long lasting. You really have to look at the work, look at the stories you're telling yourself, look at the emotional patterns that you have, where you got them from, and do the work to release them and to shift them so that the behavior change becomes easier for you. So you're not constantly pushing against a pattern or a behavior that you haven't dealt with, because willpower will only take you so far. Are you investing in your physical health? Do you have a gym membership? Do you have a yoga studio membership? Do you invest in dance classes? Do you invest in movement and, healthy food and supplements that support your physical body and give you physical health. Look at where you're investing in that. Because obviously your physical health is directly connected to your emotional health. You can influence both the physical symptoms through working on your emotional health, and you can influence your emotional health by treating your physical symptoms. So investing in both of those things is really, really important. And look, the dollar amount that you're spending on those things is a direct impact and reflection on how much you really actually value your well-being. Look at what else you're investing in. Are you investing in education? And really look at what kind of education that is. Is it something that is directly leading you to a solution for the thing that is your biggest problem in life? Or is it, something else? Is it just making you feel smarter? Or is it maybe leading you to a result in the future, but you're not sure exactly directly how it does that? Or are you specifically, hi Antoinette, are you specifically investing in finding a specific solution to your biggest, most pressing problem? Because when we start investing in that way, we solve one problem, then we solve the next one, then we solve the next one. Life gets better and better and easier and easier. So, are you engaged in a conversation with your emotions? Are you saying, what am I anxious about? What do I have doubt about? What am I worrying about? Listening to those emotions, letting them point you to the problem that you need to solve right now, and working and investing in creating a solution to that problem. Because as soon as you solve that one, you can move on to the next one. And every time you do that, your life gets better from then on. Like, there's no going back when you invest in supporting yourself emotionally in that way. And ask yourself, what are you avoiding? What are you resisting? Because sometimes these conversations are the most difficult because we're afraid of our emotions, because we don't talk about them, because we've been taught to suppress them, because we've been taught that having negative emotions is bad and that we need to be perfect and we need to have our shit together. And don't burden other people with your worries and negative emotions. And it's really important to be addressing those. And that's, investing in having the support with that. It saves your relationships. If you're overburdening your friends and family with your negative emotions and your emotional problems that you don't know how to deal with, that's putting a strain on your relationships. When you invest in getting that support elsewhere with somebody who knows exactly how to support you in that way, not only do you get to the results much, much faster, and you feel that support and you create that support for yourself, and then you're able to go into your relationships from a much more positive and less draining state, which creates better relationships, which in turn fulfills you more, provides even more support for you in different ways. And it's just has that ripple effect when you really decide to create that support for yourself. So just ask yourself, what are you resisting? What are the worries that are coming up again and again that you're not actively seeking support and a solution for? What are you avoiding? What is bringing you stress at this time? Is it money? Is it relationships? Is it your career? Is it your love life? Is it your level of creative fulfillment? Is it your health? Is it your energy levels? And just ask yourself, am I getting the emotional support I need to create change in this part of my life? Because once you take care of the mindset, once you take care of the emotional patterns that are causing you to resist or avoid that, which maybe you picked up from your family or from, your society, your communities, once you deal with that directly, taking the actions to create change is so easy. We have access to so much information. We're living in the information age. Every answer you could possibly need is pretty much accessible for free online. So once you stop resisting doing that work and releasing that emotional tension around that particular worry or problem that you're experiencing in your life, you create the solutions for yourself so much more easily because you're not avoiding it and you're not denying it. And you have that support to really move through and be honest with yourself about what's causing you pain and where you're maybe not really stepping up and supporting yourself. So, this is creating emotional support for yourself is really about actively creating a solution for yourself in specific areas of your life, so that because once you take care of the emotional story and that resistance and that avoidance, then you can begin taking action, and action is the thing that leads you to results. So, And, if are you taking action? Are you taking action to create the solutions? If not, get the emotional support to help you and hold your hand into taking the action, because sometimes it's just that beginning part which is the hardest, and once you get over that hump, then you can continue. Once you've got some tools, once you've got a little bit of momentum going, then it's so much easier for you to continue taking action and continue transforming that area of your life. So when you tend to the emotional story behind the problem, you start creating the solution immediately. When you ask the right questions and you actually create space for the answers, you uncover that solution. And that's really what coaching is about, is providing that space for you to find those solutions that are already there, but you're just resisting them and avoiding them because you don't want to be in that uncomfortable conversation. And, look at the things that you really value in life that bring you emotional support and well-being, and ask yourself, are you investing in them? Are you committing time, resources, and energy to being in community, to being part of supportive communities, connecting with other people who have your best interests at heart and make you feel good and uplift you? How much do you value your creativity? How much are you investing in that and your ability to find creative solutions, your ability to be in an emotional conversation and to have the strength to move through that? And how important are these things to your happiness? Really reflect on that and ask yourself, when I'm in community, when I create that support for myself, when I invest in having somebody support me, what is the impact on my life? What is the ripple effect? How do I feel? And then when I'm feeling that way, what actions do I take? How much money do I earn? How many ideas of inspiration do I have? How much follow through do I have? How many more connections do I have? And how much more enjoyable and rewarding and fulfilling are they? These are things that we've really not, a lot of the time, don't talk about the value. And these are some of the most important and valuable things. We've settled for being unfulfilled and having anxiety and being in self-doubt and feeling alone and feeling like we're lost and we don't have a solution to our problem. But we don't have to feel any of those things. And it can be those simple shifts and those changes and those investments that you decide to make, when you decide to prioritize those things for yourself, you can be happy and fulfilled. You can have all of the solutions to all of your problems. They all exist when you're willing to create the time and space to access them. We're living in a time of creativity. It's not about showing up and hustling and, working in a factory and just being a cog in a wheel and just doing what somebody tells us and getting our paycheck and doing that our whole lives. We're living in a time where we really can do whatever the hell we want for a living and for a career, and we can have multiple careers. We can access people in countries all over the world. We have access to so much information. We have access to all the solutions. And you probably know someone who's already living a life that you really want to live, or who's already has a career or a financial result or, a certain level of success, or the type of family or family life or life balance, who's really doing something that you want to do. And you can have that. The only thing that's holding you back is your resourcefulness. You're willing to create those solutions for yourself. And that's pretty much it. So when you create that emotional support for yourself to find the solutions to whatever problem it is that you are currently, intent on solving, you can have whatever you want. So it's really about being resourceful. For me, when I really invested in creating emotional support for myself, I was very resourceful. I founded coaches who were training, who needed to do a few free sessions when I didn't have enough money to pay somebody. And, I did a lot of trades with people. I was always looking for opportunities to create that emotional support for myself. And that eventually led me to a place where I was earning way more money. I was way more fulfilled, had way more energy, was taking much more effective action. And then from that place, I was earning more money. I was able to then invest in working with coaches, for like full-on programs. And every time I took that step, my life massively up-leveled. Not only that, it taught me all of these tools that I then continue to be able to apply to always create a solution in every single area of my life. So, we never have to feel stuck. That's just not something that we ever have to live with. All it takes is a willingness to shift our behavior. And if that involves saving some of your, money that you're spending elsewhere and investing it in your emotional health, and really like moving on that journey, that will open up so much more freedom, so much more resources, so much more wealth for you going forward. So that's really a choice that you get to make, because we do have the money. We always find the money for the things that we identify that we really need. So just recognize where, maybe you're spending impulsively for instant gratification, and just the more you can invest in your emotional well-being, the faster you're going to grow, more strong, more powerful, and be able to create even more solutions for yourself. Because once your head and your heart and your emotions are aligned, and they're in the game the right way, pointing in the right direction, it's so easy to navigate through the action steps that you need to take to get you where you need to go. And just, always remember that creating different results always requires a change in behavior, and our emotions drive our behavior. So just really start to be in that conversation and learn whatever you can about your emotions. It's not something we're taught at school. It's definitely not something a lot of us talk about in our families. And a lot of our friends, we don't even talk about it. And a lot of our close relationships, sometimes we'll avoid talking about our emotions. And we're not, I kind of see us as a human race as toddlers when it comes to emotional intelligence. We're not that great at navigating our feelings and our thoughts and the difference and really how they're interacting to drive our behavior and drive the kind of results that we're capable of getting. But the more we become more intelligent in that conversation, the more power we really have to create different results in our life. So this was such an important message that I was just burning to share with you, and let me know how it's resonating. Let me know what your takeaways are. Go and look at your bank statements and circle and see how much money you're actually investing in your emotional health. And, it's such a clear indicator that you can just shift, cut out a few things for a while and start to shift your investment in your emotional health, and watch how that shifts your life and your happiness, your well-being, every single area of your life. So let me know if you have any comments and feedback. If you, I had so many more notes here. Sorry, this is a big topic for me that I have a lot to say about. Things I wanted to bring your attention to for investing in your emotional health. Obviously, working with a coach, working with a therapist, working with a healer, like an energy healer, joining a supportive community, whether that's an online one or whether that's an in-person one. These are things that really support our emotional health and well-being and the way that we feel supported on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. It's really about not only investing money, but investing time, energy, space, and resources to cultivate your emotional well-being. When you start to think about it that way, where am I investing my time? Am I giving myself that daily mindset practice every day that cultivates an emotional state that will support me in getting and creating what I want? Because the more you do this, the more you think about it really in terms of an investment, and the more time, the more focus, the more energy, the more resources you put towards it, the better your life becomes. So just because when you need something, you find the money for it, whether that's going to see some music, whether that's going for a spa day, a vacation, a trip to see a loved one. We know we always do find the money for something when we really see it as a true desire and important benefit to us. So, really getting in that conversation and that appreciation of how taking care of our emotional well-being shifts our health and our happiness and our results. Because when we're not investing in it, we really are undermining our happiness. We shouldn't have to live with constant states of anxiety, self-doubt, feelings of unworthiness. These are all problems that can be solved when you invest in doing that work. So, and that's really how you create ease and happiness in your life, which is really the result that we're looking for when we're trying to achieve anything. So if you do feel like you're ready to, launch that dream career, really up level the money that you're earning, the freedom and fulfillment that you have in your life, message me and tell me about it. And we can set up a call to see if you'd be a good fit for my one-on-one coaching program. I'm launching a new program. I'm really excited about that. And, it's really all about supporting you to figure out what makes you happy. Who are you and what are your genuine desires? What are the things, what are the pursuits that are really going to bring you that freedom and fulfillment? What are your values and how are you taking action in alignment with those values? Because that's really how we create happiness. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let me know how this resonates with you. Send me some hearts, send me some likes. If you're watching the replay, let me know, and talk to you very soon. Lots of love.